way for people to be inducted, because I wouldn't be standing here today if they didn't change that criteria. So women can now be included for our amateur work and the body of work that we talk about, or we think about the WNBA, the PWHL that has just started, amazing results, and the future of Canadian domestic professional league for soccer in Canada, and how amazing that's going to be. I know Russ's daughters are super excited as well. So, but there's a huge step to be taken in baseball still, but this is a step in the right direction for them to be able to recognize women. So for the committee, this is like honestly a true honor for me, and I really hope young girls one day have the experience that I've had the last couple of days. So thank you. I'm not going to stay on time here because I don't want to upset Bob. I'll start with the day I got the call instead of the day I was born. So, okay, so on January 26th, I got the call from Scott, and I'm a teacher at Dr. Frank J. Hayden Secondary School. A great place to work, but I had just proctored my kinesiology, my grade 12 kinesiology exam, and like any good teacher, was ready to procrastinate, not doing marking or report cards. So I headed down to the gym for a quick workout, saw my phone ring, saw Scott's name pop up, and I just assumed maybe he wanted a couple of things, for the hall, for International Women's Day, something like that. So I answered the phone, we chit-chat for a little bit, and then he tells me that I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I actually went silent for a second, and for people who know me, that is shocking. I was like, oh. And then when I found words, they were very colorful. Again, for people who know me, that is not shocking. And then he told me, you're going to need to say something that I can post on social media. So I pulled it together, gave him a quote. I can't remember what it was, other than I was obviously super honored, super proud. But in that day and the weeks, months since then, mainly what I thought is like, how did I even get here? A kid growing up in Mississauga, just playing running bases on Silverberry Crescent with all my neighbors. And then, I got a couple neighbors here who are supporting, so shout out to Silverberry. And it was just amazing to grow up in that little neighborhood. Everybody was supportive and inclusive, and everybody let me play. And I grew up with mainly boys on the street who were a lot older. And my mom just used to give me advice and say, if you want to play, you're going to get some bumps and bruises, and you better not complain, or they're never going to invite you back. And so I didn't complain. I played, got my bumps and bruises, but loved every minute of it. And so I think about that time. I think about all the people who have helped me get here, the people in my baseball life, and the people in my, normal life. And I've spent the last few months really being appreciative of them. But what I want to talk about, I've got a couple stories here, but is what I miss the most about playing is just the love of competition. And so some people say, yes, like, how did you get involved, or what do you remember, what you're most proud of? And lots of people say, I've made so many friends and stuff like that. They're great, but I just love competition. And there's nothing better than going out and competing. All my teammates are like, what? But they know that how much I love competition and how much I thrive on that. And since retiring in 2018, I've actually never found anything to replace that feeling. And for athletes in the room, and the wannabe athletes in the room, at one point I was there too, but it's just so fun competing and doing your best and just going to battle every day with teammates. So I have two quick stories I'm going to share. And I actually had to ask a couple of my teammates before we got started. I don't remember the whole story, but one of them we were in, and I didn't know this actually. It was 2019. I had to ask what year it was. It was only 2019. Yikes! But we were playing Alberta, and it was the top of the eighth. And for people who don't know, in women's baseball we play 7 innings. So we're in extras in the top of the eighth, and we give up a 4 spot. Probably not great at all. So we get our third out, we jog off, and I just remember thinking, okay, well, we got some work to do. I wasn't panicked. I looked at Sean, our coach, and I talked about him in a sec. He wasn't panicked. My teammates looked a bit panicked, but I thought, okay, well, what do we do here? We win a lot of games, so let's find a way to win a lot of games. So I actually didn't know where I was in the order. I don't even remember what I did. My teammates told me that I was up first, who knew? And I got drilled with a pitch. Thank God, because I got on base. But And once they told me that, I was like, yeah, that's right. I think I said I was really going to crowd and just hope somebody drilled me, and I didn't have to do anything else. So it worked, and I got on base, and we came back to win that game. But I didn't even remember like the little things and the little nuances of the game, other than the feeling and the thrill of like competing and wanting to win that game. And there's nothing to replace, and this flies in my face. And there's nothing that's like feels like that. The other one was in 2008 in Japan, and I played third base. I always wanted to play shortstop, but Andre never let me. But I played third base, and early in my career, I also pitched, and it didn't last long, so you knew that I wasn't good at it. But in this particular situation, he asked me to come and close a game. So this wasn't any game. We were in the semifinals playing the U.S. We love them as much as you love them. So we're playing the U.S. in the semifinals. We're in Japan for a chance to play Japan in the finals. I don't remember the score, but I know it was a safe situation. So Andre gives me a call, okay, you gotta come from third and finish this game off. And I remember I was so excited to get that ball, and I don't even know why. I probably shouldn't have been the person to get it, but I was thrilled to get this ball, and I knew that we were going to win this game. And I look up, and Donna Mills is up to bat. So there's like 4 people in this room who might know who she is, but she's easily the best American hitter. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a tough task. And Andre agreed. So he said, you're going to intentionally walk her, and then we're going to attack the rest of the lineup. And I remember looking at him, and I said, can I just drill her? And at that time, you had to throw 4 pitches. You couldn't hold up 4 and just give him the courtesy. So I was like, oh, I'm going to save 3 bullets here. I promise I won't. And then I got 3 extra left in the tank. And I think he thought about it for a second. He said, no, I think he was considering it, but he said no, and just make sure it comes set so you don't block. And I was like, all right. Anyways, I don't even remember what happened. I know we won that game. I know we got to play in the gold medal game, but I remember things like that. So when you think about like medals won, games played, it's the moments and like those times when you're with your teammates and you're competing and you're just having the best time. Granted, we won those games. We certainly didn't win all of our games, but it was just such a fantastic time, and that's what I remember the most. I'll have to really project here if I just have that.
Hey, give that girl a contract.
There we go. This was the intermission. This is the second act. A few other things. So if anybody's been around our program, they know like natural disasters follow, and I mean natural disasters follow our team. So the very first time we ever had a team was in 2004 in Edmonton. Wonderful World Cup. They did such a fantastic job. And then 2005 we went to Cuba to play a friendly series for a week there. And it's amazing. They're doing a great job. Beautiful stadium. Fans are packing the stadium. They tell us that they hate us and they don't want us to win. But it was amazing. We were so happy to have fans there. And then 2 days in, we get back from one of our games, and our interpreter says, really politely, you're going to need to pack all of your stuff and be out of this hotel in 15 minutes. And we're like, pardon? And he's like, well, we're too close to the ocean. A Category 4 Hurricane Dennis, I still remember his name, was going to hit. And so they were moving us inland. And I was like, Cuba's beautiful, but I was not confident in the infrastructure of the place that they put us. And that was supposed to be the safer spot. So Category 4 hurricane hits, and I don't know a lot about hurricanes, but I know 4 is not good. And so somebody told me the only thing I need to get out of Cuba was my passport and $40 US. So I remember putting $40 in my passport, tucking it into my sports bra that night, and thinking, Cuba can keep the rest. I don't know what's going to happen. Just going to go home. And got up in the morning, suitcases are just floating past and I mean floating past our bed. And there's a palm tree. I love palm trees, but it's just nicely uprooted and just put itself right in our living room. So that was amazing. And then we think, okay, we'll have a little bit of a break. We're not going to have any other disasters follow. Nope. The next year, In 2006, we head to Taiwan. And we don't need a hurricane, we'll just give you a 6.5 earthquake on the Richter scale. And that's not a little rumble, let me tell you. That's not a little bump. So we're on the 14th floor of a beautiful, beautiful hotel. And my bed just starts firing all over my room. And I actually looked under the bed. I thought my roommate was being an idiot. And just, I don't know what happened. Where I grew up, the ground stayed still. I was like, what is going on? And then I hear someone yell, earthquake! And I thought, I think I've seen this in movies. I think I'm supposed to stand in the doorwell. So I just stood there in the doorway. As soon as it stopped, every Canadian American imaginable running down to the lobby. And nobody in the lobby looked shocked. Kate and I were standing there is there going to be an aftershock? What happened next? And anyway, those are the two kind of funny stories. We've had all kinds of things. In 2010, there was a shooting in Venezuela. That is not funny. But just the craziest of stories we've had, and I've had all of these moments and memories with the best of teammates, and we've had a really fun time in the last few days sharing with those. Speaking of my teammates, I played long enough to be able to play with a lot of really amazing people. I think of the OGs or the original ones, so Harwood, McGallis, my good pal Kate, who's here, Luch, Ace, and Autumn, who crushed it. You can just ask the two people we played with yesterday, Mike and Dave, how amazing Autumn is at golf. She was just as good at baseball. Then the second wave came through. G. Roy, her dad's here today, Rich Shiro, Sarah, Ella, Van, Steph, Flu, all those amazing athletes who came. And then the new generation, Senna, Shrody, Stace, Mena. And those are the people who are going to carry it forward. So I thank each of them for making me better as a ball player, making me better as a person, and really putting up with me on the field. I know that I was a challenging teammate. I expected a lot of them and myself. And I really am appreciative that they put up with me for so many years. There's two coaches I want to thank. I know lots of people have thanked some coaches, but two coaches I want to thank. One is Sean O'Brien. He's here. I'm an Ashley Stephenson. And he's 6'4", so you can see him. So Sean O'Brien, he's going to hope that chair swallows him up for the next 2 minutes while I talk. But if you have anything to do with women's baseball in Ontario, you know Sean. And if you don't, you need to know Sean. So he's absolutely the best. He coached me for, I don't even know, 25 years, so I don't want to, I look kind of young right now, so I don't want to pretend how old I am. But Wayne Carroll brought him to a practice, I don't know, 23 years ago or something, and he never left. And I don't know why, but he never left, and we thank God that he never left. He's been the backbone of Baseball Ontario women's program for that many years. He's knowledgeable, patient, caring, composed. Basically has every characteristic that I wish I had, and I clearly don't. And he's absolutely amazing. And then he's just got amazing people with him. I think of Dave, Joe, Murray, Peter, Dan. Lots of them are here today who've had such a huge impact on me. So thank you to all of you guys. The next one is Andre LaChawn. So he's not here. He's chasing the circus. And for people who know him, they'll know what I mean. But he was my manager for 15 years while I played. And he's a little bit more similar to me. So Sean was the exact opposite. I used to ask him to get thrown out of games, to get in fights, and he never did. He was normal. Andre and I shared a brain, more or less. We were fiery, competitive, demanded excellence, and sometimes were challenging to be around, but we always found common ground and our want to win and our will to win. He really grew our game internationally, also in our country, but he was a huge advocate for women's baseball around the world. And I think people forget that even though we want our team to be really, really good, the game has to grow around the world in order for us to have people to play around the world. In order for us to be involved in Pan Am Games, maybe the Olympic Games, things like that, we have to grow the sport around the world. And he understood that, and he really took pride in that, and he did a wonderful job. But I wanted to thank Andre for all of his time. And we talked in length with Andre about when I eventually transitioned to coaching. I knew I wanted to coach immediately. I didn't want to break. I love the game. I wanted to be around it. So I retired in 2018, and I really started coaching in 2019. And he knew my dream and my goal was to run the women's national team program and to manage that program. And I got a little taste of it in 2022. Aaron Mayette, who was the head coach or manager at the time, him and his wife were expecting their first child, and it was just my luck that it was going to be when we were hosting the U.S. for a 5-game friendly series in Thunder Bay. And so that was my first time managing the program, and I was so proud, and I wanted to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. I was uber prepared. I had folders with everything you could imagine, practice plans, everybody's duties, roles, responsibilities. Wanted to make sure we were prepared, and I thought we were ready to go. I knew it was going to be a really challenging 5 games. We had just got through COVID. We hadn't played internationally in a while. We had just lost our leader, Asa, and I knew it was going to be a really emotional 5 days for all of us, myself included, so I thought I was going to be prepared as possible. We were so prepared that the first game, it finished 15-2, not for us. So I was so prepared, and then we got smacked. And I just remember thinking, well, this didn't go like how I thought it would. It played out really differently in my mind. But anyways, I had to go down and talk to the team at the end of the game, and as I walked down the left field line, I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew I was pissed, but I didn't know what I was going to say. And I know the coaches didn't know what I was going to say. They were walking behind me like, oh boy, she might just do left. And as I walked down, I had Sean on one shoulder telling me love them, it's going to be okay, they're going to get better, it's all going to be okay. And I had Andre on the other side saying, we got to be better than this, we got to demand more of each other, and whatever. So I don't even remember what I said. You can ask some of the team, but I always had the 2 of them with me. I still have them with me. They've been hugely influential in my life, and I want to thank the both of them. So thank you very much. I'll finish with a few thank yous. I promise we'll get out of here quickly. I have lots of friends, neighbors who are supporting me today. We grew up in a great area where we had lots of people who helped us out. I have amazing friends who are always so supportive, and thank them for all their time and investment in me. I think of Tip and Darlene, 2 people who are not here today with me, but Tip was like a sister I didn't have, and Darlene was like a second mom to me. And like she drove me everywhere, practices, games, tournaments. She was amazing, and I wouldn't have been able to play hockey or ball without them. So I want to thank them. We can go back to the 2 clock here just to keep it nice and concise. That was a great idea. I have a ton of family here, so aunts, uncles, cousins. If you're not sure who they are.